Why don't girls need to wear a yarmulke?
When we ask the question why women don't wear a yarmulke, I think we should preface that by first asking why do men need to wear a yarmulke? The purpose of a yarmulke, as we know, the word yarmulke is made up of two words, Yirei Elokim, or Yirei Elokah, which means fear of God. In other words, the yarmulke is sort of a symbol, just like the yarmulke is on top of my head, and it's higher than my head. So I'm making myself aware, I'm making myself conscious of the fact that there is a presence always on top of my head, a presence who is higher than me, which is Hashem. And naturally, if a person is constantly aware of Hashem's presence, then the way he conducts himself in thought and speech and action will be consistent with Torah and consistent with Hashem's will. But the question is, why is it necessary to put something on my head? If that's important, then it would make sense that every day a person should think about the fact that Hashem is above me, Hashem's presence is there. Why do we need to put something on our head? Why is that necessary? And in fact, we do that meditation. That's what davening is all about. So obviously the answer is yes, it's true, but we are human beings, physical human beings, and we relate more to things that are physical and tangible. And being that throughout the day we get involved in so many different things that might get us distracted and forget for a moment, or if not forget, at least be less aware, less conscious of Hashem's presence. So therefore, the halacha is that we wear a yarmulke, something physical. It's physically on my head. I physically feel it. It's tangible. And that somehow makes the awareness of Hashem and my consciousness of Hashem more tangible, and therefore it's more effective. And for that reason, women don't need to wear a yarmulke. One of the things that Chassidus explains about the difference between men and women, that men and women both have a neshama, a soul, which is a nevesh elokis, a godly soul, but the source of the soul comes from a different place. In the language of Chassidus, the soul of a man comes from Zah, and the soul of a woman comes from the sphere of Malchus. And the sphere of Malchus, according to Chassidus, has its roots in a place which is much higher than the roots of Zah. The roots of the sphere of Malchus is in Keser, which is the crown, which is really the essence of all the levels in the spiritual realm. To translate that in simple words, it means that a woman's spiritual source is higher than the spiritual source of a man's neshama. And as a result of that, a woman naturally is more sensitive and more tuned in to spirituality. So therefore, when the halacha says that men need a yarmulke, that adds an extra additional awareness and consciousness of Hashem's presence. Women don't wear the yarmulke because they don't need that extra additional because of their natural sensitivity and their natural awareness. Therefore, they will be able to accomplish the same thing without the physical yarmulke on their head. And this is really the same thing regarding tzitzis, also a physical object that we wear, a physical garment that we put on to add to our awareness of Hashem. And the same thing with tefillin. We put the tefillin on our arm and we put the tefillin on our head, and it's all to add that awareness that Hashem is there, and my heart and my brain should be dedicated to serving Him. Women don't need these physical acts and physical objects because their awareness of Hashem is so much naturally more heightened than a man, and they will have the same awareness and the same consciousness without those physical things that they need to be done. In fact, we see this in the Torah in many areas, that women spiritually are superior to men. Contrary to public opinion, of course, public opinion of people that don't have the knowledge of Torah, that in the Torah or in Judaism, women are sort of inferior to men. We find the opposite. The Talmud tells us that the Jewish people went out of Egypt only in the merit of the women, because in terms of Amunah, in terms of their faith in Hashem, they were superior to the men. And in that merit, we went out of Egypt. When it came to the Egel Azov, to worshiping the golden calf, it was the women that were stronger than men. They passed that test. When it came to the Meraglim, the spies, because of what they did, the Jewish people were in the desert for another additional 40 years. Again, the women were strong, and they didn't fail that test. They trusted in Hashem. When it came to building the Mishkan, it also says that the women were ahead of the men, more enthusiastic than the men in bringing the donations and their contributions to build the Mishkan. And there are many other sources which show us that spiritually, women are actually superior to men in terms of their spiritual awareness and consciousness and motivation.